In my last video on Kate Middleton, I talked about A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a play written by Shakespeare. On Midsummer, June the 24th, 1717, you had the official creation of Freemasonry. So Midsummer. Shakespeare was written by the Rosicrucians. John Dee and Francis Bacon were the chief editors. And the Rosicrucians created Freemasonry. They had an important role. The founding fathers of America were Rosicrucians. And in the ceremony in 2017, they actually mentioned that Shakespeare was written by Freemasons, predecessors of the Freemasons, which is the Rosicrucians, John Dee. John Dee practiced Enochian magic using the Kabbalah. What it really is the cult of Isis. It is alchemy. It is a synthesis of duality creates Lucifer, synthesis, Isis, enlightenment. It's the two aspects, understanding the two aspects. And he performed magic rituals for the court of Elizabeth I, and he appears in a play by Shakespeare as Prospero in The Tempest. And in the Olympics, they based the 2012 Olympics on William Shakespeare and The Tempest. And you had 007 jump into the stadium with the Queen, the Crown. 007 was the code name of John Dee. John Dee's James Bond. You had a crown bug ritual. And it's all connected to John Dee, the Rosicrucians and Freemasonry, and this dream to create a new golden age as it was in the past. And it's all connected to Freemasonry and Theosophy, which believes in the creation of this new race. And this creation of this new race you can see already happening with transhumanism. And what they seem to believe is that a higher intelligence has been behind the ascent of man. And this intelligence communicates with man through the pineal gland. And so this intelligence is like, the human being is like a nest where the Lucifer cuckoo has laid its egg. Now, if we look at iPet Goat 2, it was created on Midsummer. It was created on the 24th of June, 2012. The 24th of June is Midsummer. That's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And I've shown you how Lewis Carroll got the idea of that book from a painting by Edwin Landseer of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So, iPet Goat 2 was created on June 24th. Midsummer, June 24th, 1717, was the creation of Freemasonry. So here we have Alice in Wonderland. And as I said, this connects to A Midsummer Night's Dream and mind control, spells. When you join Freemasonry, you are put under a spell, a hypnotic spell, where you master the craft, you master the duality through satanic rituals, which they also perform. And out of this comes illumination and Lucifer. As they believe, man becomes enlightened and goes up the ladder towards becoming God, the Luciferian dream. So you saw the Masonic floor there. So Midsummer this year is 24th of June. And you can see that the creation of Freemasonry was on the 24th of June 1717. And it was on St. John's Day. And the Freemasons worship two St. Johns. They worship St. John the Evangelist and the Book of Revelation, as they see it as an esoteric book. And they also celebrate St. John the Baptist, and they give St. John the Baptist more importance than Jesus. And they believe in a heresy that Jesus was not divine, and that the real meaning behind John the Baptist is that he was a Gnostic teacher who brought Hermeticism via Egypt. And then in the Renaissance we had this huge rebirth with John Dee of Hermeticism based on Hermes Trismegistus, and a book translated by Cornelius Agrippa, which influenced the painter Holbein, and he's painting the ambassadors. And this Kabbalistic magic, as you can see, then went on to create Freemasonry in 1717 Midsummer. You have the Shakespeare play A Midsummer Night's Dream. We have the painting that influenced Lewis Carroll. Edwin Landseer was Queen Victoria's favourite painter. He was a brilliant painter of animals. He was a Freemason. He sculpted the lions around the obelisk of Nelson's column. Those lions were described as sphinxes. Now, people believe that the Sphinx in Egypt was actually a lion, and its heart, it actually has a heart which points to the constellation of Leo, where you have the star Regulus. It regulates the time. This is all to do with astronomy and astrology. As above, so below. Hermetic ideas. And so we have this painting by Edwin Landseer, A Midsummer's Night Dream, which is about spells and mind control. Lewis Carroll saw this painting and he based the book Alice in Wonderland on this painting. So it all connects to Shakespeare, the Rosicrucians and the Freemasons, and Midsummer. And the character was called Bottom, the ass. And this was based on a book by Apelles, the Roman writer, who was tried for witchcraft. And the book is about how before you join the cult of Isis, which is Lucifer, you have to go through forms of satanic initiation and understand the duality. And then the understanding of the duality creates enlightenment. And then he is baptized, he is cleansed, and then he joins the cult of Isis, which is Lucifer. And we have this in Shakespeare. We have this in Lewis Carroll. And it all goes back to Gnosticism and the belief that the material God is evil, but there is this other God, which is Lucifer, which is helping mankind become God. And so it's based on this book, The Golden Ass, or it was known as the Metamorphosis. And this is all about man becoming enlightened and becoming godlike. And we have today the metamorphosis of man into transhumanism. Here we have Kate Middleton dressed as Rosemary's Baby and Princess Diana. Princess Diana was sacrificed August 31st, that's the 13th. She died in the 13th hour. She hit the 13th pillar. And all her memorials are dedicated to Isis, which is Lucifer. And Freemasonry is a Luciferian cult. And the plot of Rosemary's Baby is that she gives the baby up to a satanic cult. That satanic cult is a coven of witches, which is connected to Freemasonry, which runs the British Crown. And there are also witches' covens in Oxford University and Cambridge University. This is confirmed by the occult writer Montague Summers, who was an expert in the occult in the early part of the 20th century. So, it looks like I am right. This thing could relate to Kate Middleton. This is the eclipse, this is the Devil's Comet, this is the apple. I've shown that on the bottom of the apple you have what looks like La Palma. We had the yin and yang earthquake, we had the Super Bowl, we had the references to the Charlie Chaplin character. Now, the Charlie Chaplin character, his death was announced on May Day. That was the creation of the Bavarian Illuminati, May Day, 1776. And on May Day they announced also the death of Bin Laden, and Bin Laden appears in I Pet Goat 2 with the eclipse and the Devil's Comet. It's all connected to Charles, the crown, his face on the coin, on the crown, and it's about this huge change that's coming. And I believe it's connected to La Palma, and also a man-made meteor. But it looks like I am right, because I Pet Goat was created on Midsummer, June the 24th, 2012, and Freemasonry was created on June 24th, 1717. Thank you.